Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, grab a pew if you can find one, and we've got a jam-packed dceu daily. It's Monday. I'm fresh-faced for a change on a Monday morning, and I'm very, very excited because today we've got a jam-packed show. We've got, we will be discussing the Shazam box office, and I'll be sitting a few people down about that. We'll be talking about The Rock confirming that he will be filming the Black Adam movie at some point next year. And then I'm going to play devil's advocate and talk about maybe the Russo brothers directing the Flash movie with Ezra Miller's script. I know I've said before that's not happening, but it's a bit like the Superman Henry Cavill thing. I'm going backwards and forwards like a yo-yo. So first of all, let's talk about the Shazam box office. 56 million opening domestic weekend, 146 million globally. Now that is a fantastic piece of box office. They're great numbers for a movie called Shazam that basically the mainstream audience haven't heard of. It's very good. It's brilliant. Now, this film was never going to clear $1 billion. This is Zachary Levi. This is Shazam. The mainstream audience haven't heard of this character, but the marketing and the feel-good factor has been brilliant. So this film will clear over 500 million by the time it's done. Where's my background gone? Eh? That's so annoying. I'm going to hold this. Anyway, right, so there's a few people, I've been watching a few videos saying that a 56 million opening isn't very good. 146 million globally isn't very good. It is absolutely fantastic for Shazam. Now, you know, we're not talking about a big tier character here. And it's also baby steps for the dceu. You know, we are still on probation in terms of the mainstream audience. But at the end of the day, these are baby steps. And it's not, we are not the MCU yet, where people will just tune into these movies, whoever they're about, and whatever they're about. So we still have to be very patient. But at the end of the day, they are great numbers. I will put into question the timing of the release. The release is like 2 or 3 weeks before Endgame, the most anticipated CBM in comic book movie history. And I know a lot of people have told me they are saving their money for that movie. So despite that, so when you put that into context and the release of Pet Sematary 2, which is not doing great guns, but it's still taking a little bit away from Shazam, the numbers it's getting are absolutely fantastic. Now, maybe if Shazam was released centrally in the summer, it would have done a little bit better, but I don't think they would have been bigger groundbreaking numbers. So 56 million opening domestic weekend is very, very, very good. It's nothing to be negative about. I'm surprised that people... A video I was watching, right, from a YouTuber who's got now well over 100k, right, blatantly saying that 56 million isn't a good number. It is for Shazam. I suppose Shazam is comparable to the first Ant-Man movie. That didn't make big numbers, but it did okay. And it's the same as Shazam. These are great numbers. The drop-offs won't from week to week won't be that big either. So it's going to be fine. I expect this to equal the box office of Justice League, which was just over 650 million globally. Now, that wasn't great for Justice League because it was a team-up movie, and a Justice League movie should be making a couple of $1 billion. But for Shazam, 650 to 700 million is absolutely fantastic. So there is nothing to worry about. The numbers are absolutely fantastic. Every box office expert has said the same. So anyone who tells you these numbers aren't good absolutely don't know what they're talking about. Not every DC movie is going to clear $1 billion. Now, I believe the Joker movie is going to surprise people in the box office because he's the Joker. Everybody knows who the Joker is. But at the end of the day, hardly any of the mainstream audience know who Shazam is. So despite that, for this film to be clearing a 56 million opening domestically, 146 million globally, is an absolutely fantastic return. It's a great movie. There's a feel-good factor about the DC films right now, and we should be enjoying that. Now, in even better news, The Rock, in a video, I saw this video on Twitter, there wasn't much to it, but he did confirm that he will start filming on The Rock. Let's start again. The Rock will start filming on The Rock. It's not about The Rock. He will be playing Black Adam, and he will start filming next year. We kind of knew that already, but it's great to have Dwayne Johnson actually confirm that. So any rumour of him not being involved anymore is absolutely not true. Of course, he was brought on by Jeff Johns when Jeff was running the franchise. This is not a New Line Cinema decision. This is not a Walter Hamada, Peter Safran decision. But I have suspected for a while that those two guys were involved in the DCEU just behind the scenes, even when Jeff Johns was running things. So I think the changes have been planned for a very, very long time. So I'm really, really excited that The Rock will be playing Black Adam. There's so many rumours about other DC characters being part of this film. So I think this could be a bit of a team-up movie and some characters we've never seen in movies before. We've seen, some characters we've seen in TV shows like Smallville and Arrowverse, but it's very exciting and I'm really happy that Black Adam will be happening. Also, Warner Brothers have been discussing the Shazam sequel and saying it's very, very important that they start production on this film as soon as possible. And it's a very similar situation to the kids on Harry Potter because obviously they were growing up quickly. You've got to get in there while they're still kids. Or as the producer says, they'll be the same age as Zachary Levi, and we can't be having that. A bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So filming of the sequel will start very, very quickly. I'm not sure if it'll be this year. Definitely next year. But yeah, we'll probably see that. We'll probably see the sequel. Probably not next year, but the year after that. No way next year, obviously, because they're only going to start filming next year or maybe the end of this year. So again, very, very exciting. So we've got a really exciting DCEU slate coming up. We've, of course, got the Joker later on, which is not part of the DCEU, if you believe rumours. I want to talk about the Joker movie in a minute as well. You've got Birds of Prey, you've got Wonder Woman 1984 next year, and then you've got New Gods in development. There's a lot of things we haven't even been told yet. Now, before I talk about the Russos and play devil's advocate with you, I want to talk about the Joker movie. Is it more than a one-off film? Is this universe they're building eventually going to be connected to this course correction that Walter Hamada and Peter Safran are doing? Is the Joker going to be involved in the main universe? Is the Joker's universe the main universe? Now, in the trailer, we see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker grab hold of a young Bruce Wayne by the face and try and make him smile. I believe we are going to get a lot of Bruce Wayne in this film. I think there will be parallels drawn to his life, even though he's a young boy at the time, and the parallels of what's going on with Joaquin's Joker, Arthur Fleck. So I think we're going to get a lot of Bruce Wayne. And still don't be surprised if the Batman movie is set in the universe of the Joker. Now, I know we've been told it's set in the DC universe, but very few things have been announced officially. I think the director, Matt Reeves, has said a lot of things about it and what kind of film it's going to be, but there hasn't really been a confirmation in what universe this could be set in. So this so-called DC Black label could be part of the course correction, this mini reboot they're doing, and I think once we see the film, we're going to understand it. And also, with Wonder Woman 84, that's an interesting one. Now, I've crossed this before, but people are going on about it again. You do not know if the Suicide Squad movie, James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, is a reboot or not. You're all trying to diss Peter Safran, but at the end of the day, just because they're casting the same actors doesn't mean it's a sequel to the first Suicide Squad. Literally, this film could be starting again, or it could just be a soft reboot. So don't assume anything right now. There is a course correction going on since Justice League, because that course correction is needed. And right now there's a feel-good factor. I'm excited, and I don't want to hear about the negativity. Right, the Russos at the moment are marketing Avengers Endgame. They've been doing a lot of talking, and they were asked if they'd ever rule out doing a DC movie, and they said, we will not rule that out. So as I was having a cigarette, terrible habit, on my balcony, I was thinking about this. what if the Russos end up directing the Flash movie with Ezra Miller's script? Now, I thought that wasn't going to happen, but it's still very quiet on the Western Front. Nothing's come out about that yet. So let's just say that Warner Brothers do like Ezra Miller's script, and those directors that were going to write and direct it originally, the kind of Back to the Future tone to it, maybe the Russos could come in to do the Flash movie. I think that will be the movie they'd want to do. It'd be very interesting to them as well. So why would the Russos, who are very prominently involved in the MCU, come over to the dceu? Well, I do hear that Disney want to recruit more directors of colour, whether they're male or female, and I think this might be a good stepping off point for the Russos. Also, having seen a test screening for Avengers Endgame, it is a very, very controversial film, as well as being a very long one. Now, I got a lot out of that movie. I'm not a die-hard MCU fan. I'm a DC man, as you all know. But I think this film is going to split some of the fandom. I don't think it's a Batman v Superman or a Last Jedi, but I certainly think it's going to split the fandom. So it's very interesting. So basically, it might be a good time for the Russos to kind of say, you know what, we've enjoyed this journey, which they said. They've already aired 10 minutes of scenes for the press the other day, and they've said how they've enjoyed this journey, and it's like it's the end of the journey. So maybe they are coming over to the DCEU, and I'd love to see them both direct the Flash movie. So that's very interesting, and I will keep you apprised of that situation. So it's very exciting, and it just is. It's just really, for me, I'm just buzzing for everything right now, because there's so many more announcements to come. There's things that are being fed to me all the time that I can't talk about. But I tell you what, once I can talk about it, you, my friends, will be the first to know.